Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
You're mad, I'm back.
Guess who's back?
He's mad, she's mad.
Guess who's back?
Don't care, stay mad.
And here we go.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Talk Live. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the single most amazing Twitch streamer, my good friend Kaelena. What is up, Kaelena? How you doing?
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm doing well, Bobby. How are yourself?
I'm
How
very
are you?
good. I'm very good. She's on the verge, people, of becoming a partner. Well, you haven't even applied yet, have you?
No, I have not.
I wish I could be in that boat where I could just be like, you know what? We're just gonna let it flow. We're gonna sit on this thing. And I was like, the minute that thing went, I was like, man, I'm probably gonna fall down below the 75, so I need to do this quick and now. But
yeah,
you've been
stressful.
killing
Yes,
it.
it is.
You've been killing it since you got that application, though.
Thank you.
You're even before the application. Like, let's be honest. Like, it was really this huge steam that was taking off and going. I'm very, very proud of you. Very happy to see you.
Well, thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
Thing.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be applying next weekend. That's the goal. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my game plan, is to try and apply for partner and hopefully cross that line with you.
Well, I still haven't got a response yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
I think you will.
I'm like a month and a half in, and I'm still waiting, and I'm like freaking out. I check every day, and I'm like, I just feel like, I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it because I get so in my head, and I'm like,
there's like the stress of the application and the stress of waiting.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Real quickly, for those that live underneath of a rock and don't know who you are, how about you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Kaelena from KaelenaTV. I'd like to say that I'm a variety streamer who plays a lot of Animal Crossing. I play a lot of Animal Crossing. I love this game so very much. I've been streaming it every day since March. It's a wonderful game. I love it. I really do. So yes, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And you can find me currently hunting for Grizzly. I have yet to find that boy. He's a grumpy boy. He's just hibernating right now.
It feels like it's been like 6 weeks you've been hunting for this guy.
It's been a long time. But sooner or later, I'm sure he's going to wake up from his very long nap and he's going to come live on my island. Fingers crossed. Again, fingers crossed.
So here's the thing. Like,
Sure.
I watched today for a brief moment, and you were like ticket 420 when I was there.
Which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
It's a good number to have. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But 420 tickets. That is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty long. My longest hunt to date, it actually wasn't a traditional hunt. We stopped at Island 450 because a member of the community actually gifted me Molly's amiibo. And I was in a hunt for Molly. And we reached 450, and at that time, Brutish, my husband, he comes knocking on my door, and he's like, "Hey, you got some mail." I was like, "Okay, sure." I opened the mail right in front of chat, and it was Molly's amiibo. So we just agreed, you know what? Let's invite her. We've been through enough. Let's just bring her on the island. So we found Molly on Island 450.
That's pretty awesome. I've come to the conclusion because I have every amiibo card.
Wow.
So I've come to the conclusion that what I do is now, whoever asks to leave, as long as they have an amiibo card, I let them go, and then I go hunt, and then I bring that villager back with the amiibo card, and then I kick whoever I don't want. So it's kind of
like a juggling. You're juggling folks.
I love it. It's the best. It's the best. It's such a satisfying feeling to actually kick the one you want going out, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I plan on doing that with one of my villagers. I'm planning to kick rolled off with my Molly amiibo because I need him out. I really do.
Okay, so here's the deal. I got a couple questions I got to ask.
Sure, of course.
These are the most
Ask away.
important questions in the world. They're probably the most difficult questions you will ever answer your entire life.
Oh man,
Um,
I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready
okay.
for this. I
Okay.
think I got it.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So, Kaelena, what was the very first Nintendo console that you have ever owned?
I actually have it with me, actually.
Really?
It is my Game Boy Pocket.
Oh,
My
God.
mom got this for me when I was 10 years old. And here's the kicker. It has the original Pokemon Red cartridge in it still. And it still works because like I love the sound. I'm going to just play the sound for you guys so you know. If you've ever played, I don't know if you heard
Oh,
that little chime sound.
yes.
I love it. It still
Uh,
works. When I first moved into my house and nothing was working,
oh, my
I
God.
played this. So yes, it still works. It
So
absolutely still works.
clean. Dude, that thing is
Yes.
spotless.
Hey, it's a brick, but it works.
Yeah, that's
So
not the brick. I have the
it's
brick
not the brick,
back
but
there.
it's
When
it's a little brick. It's
it,
a little
yeah,
tiny brick.
it looks very similar to the brick.
Yes. Yeah.
So here, this is. I already know the answer to this because we'll get into it in a second.
Sure.
But what was the? Okay, hold on. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So you
That's
got
okay.
that. Your mom bought it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what? I mean, why did she buy it? Just to buy it for you, or was there a reason for it, or what?
I'm trying to remember because I was 10 at the time. I think like she spoke to her sisters and to her brothers of just like, and I was 10, so that was 1996, right?
Okay.
There was the Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket just came out, and I remember I guess I talked to her about it because I used to spend time in the arcade.
Yeah.
You know, my grandmother, she'll take me to the arcade, give me like $1 in coins, and I'll play on the arcade.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my mom about that. She's like, okay, I guess I need to get her, something to play with. So I got this I think I got it for like my birthday or something. And I actually didn't get to play Pokemon Red when I first got it because my brother ended up taking it.
Oh.
So I ended up playing Space Invaders on my Game Boy like every single day. Every day I played that game.
Here's what I don't understand. This is the greatest moment of your life, and you don't know. Like, this is better than getting married. If you have a kid, like if you have a kid, this is gonna be better than a kid, and you don't remember. Like, I'm just kidding.
It was my mom's choice. I don't know. Like I remember playing video games just like with my cousins because my cousins had the Super Nintendo, they had the NES, and I never had that. My first actual system was the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
But Nintendo, in terms of Nintendo, it was the Game Boy Pocket. So I guess my mom, spoke to her sisters and her brothers, learned that gaming was a thing, and she got me that handheld.
Amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about the don't ever bring up the Genesis again in my presence.
I'll try.
It's funny because I'm watching. There's a documentary I'm watching on CBS All Access. It's called Console Wars, and it's about the Nintendo, like the NES versus the Sega Genesis. It's that era,
Geez.
and it's so good because they got like all the executives that work for both companies, and they're talking like about behind the scenes of what they were thinking when things were happening. It's so good. It's so good.
I might have to check that out.
It's really good. It's really good. Okay, second question.
Sure.
What was the first Nintendo console that you bought with your own money?
I also have that available for you. So I have sadly, my Nintendo 3DS XL. Sadly, these are no longer going to be made anymore.
Yeah.
I still have all of my games in here. What game is actually in it? Let me check what game's inside.
Oh boy.
Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Oh,
Do you see a
Jesus.
pattern?
Yeah, somebody
Do you
likes
see
Pokemon.
a pattern?
Somebody likes
I
Pokemon.
do enjoy Pokemon. I enjoy Pokemon a lot. But yeah.
This is funny because the other day, like, so just so everybody knows, like I message the potential guest and I talk to them and I'm like, this is the gist of what we do. And then
Sure.
like you're so cute.
Thank you.
I think a little bit of nerves were hitting you because you were asking me a million questions. You're like, I gotta have the details. I don't know whether it was OCD or nervousness, but whatever it was. And you're like, so I'm running down the questions because you're like, is there anything I need to know? I'm like, just these questions. And then you start
Sure.
answering the questions like, not now. Like, don't tell me now.
Sorry, I was nervous.
I was
I
like,
just jumped the gun, guys. I jumped the gun.
I was like, I don't need to know now. We can hold off. We can wait to savor the show. Okay, 3DS is the first one you bought with your own money.
Yes.
What was the reason to buy the 3DS? What was the reason that you bought the 3DS?
Let's see. Why did I buy the 3DS XL? I think because I was commuting a lot at that time. I was still living in the city, and I spent a lot of time like on our trains and our buses. And sure, I can putz on my phone a bit, but I enjoy video games. I can't take my PC, onto the train or the bus and play video games there. So I thought, let's get myself a handheld because, like, sure, I could have taken my, my little Game Boy Pocket and tried to play that. So, I upgraded to get the 3DS.
How funny
XL.
would that have been?
Hey, I'm not gonna shade anybody, but like, heck, if I took that onto the train, I think I would get some respect.
You probably
I think I
would. You probably would. There'd probably be some people like, wow. She not
Yeah,
only does she
that's-
game, it's like retro games. She's got it down. Okay, last question.
Sure.
What is your favorite Nintendo console?
I thought about this, and I'm going to have to say the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to say the Switch. There were a number of wonderful games on the SNES, but I'm going to have to say the Switch. I think it's so innovative
Yeah.
to be able to, dock to your TV, or in my case, I can dock it to my computer and be
Yeah.
able to stream easily.
Mm-hmm.
The portability of it,
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. And then just the titles that are available to the system itself have been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The let's reverse a little bit. Let's go through some.
Sure, yeah, totally.
Did you have the NES?
Again, my cousins did.
Okay, you
A
had
lot
a
of my
Sega
cousins
Genesis.
did.
You said.
Yes.
Super Nintendo. You did have the Super Nintendo, or your cousin?
I'm only aware of them. And then as I got older,
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually like to thank my husband for introducing me to a number of retro titles.
Nice.
And that was actually what I streamed before I got into Animal Crossing
Mhm.
was retro.
Yeah.
And I stayed within the Super Nintendo, SNES title selection there.
I think when I met or became aware of you, you were doing a lot of retro
I was.
at the
I
time.
was.
I think that like when Joe kind of Joe After Work, for those that don't know, a mutual friend of ours who actually they didn't really like, introduce us, but it was kind of like he kept tagging us in tweets, and I was like, who is this girl, this woman he keeps tagging me in? So I went and I followed. I went and checked you out. First time I was just like, no, I can't with this woman. This isn't gonna happen. I'm kidding.
I appreciate the honesty. I must say.
No,
I
you know what it
appreciate
was? It was like, I don't know what it was. I wasn't a Twitch watcher at the time. Like,
Sure.
I was streaming, but I was still kind of on the fence of like YouTube, Twitch. Like, where am I going with the streaming?
Yeah, for sure.
And Joe was trying to force me and get me over to Twitch, and I just was like, no. So like, I went, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is whatever. It's streaming. It's whatever. And then like, but then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, man. We just kept crossing paths, and I was just like,
Yep.
and then
This is true.
especially when Animal Crossing hit, I felt
Yes.
like that was really for me, because here's the thing, like, I want to take my community to someone I trust, and I always trust you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, I know that I can send them to you, and I know that like you're going to handle them with care, and so much so that like you'll actually call them by the proper name that they want to be called.
Yep.
Me, I won't. I'm just like, whatever. This is your new name now.
Yeah, I do try and make an honest effort to learn everyone's preferred pronouns, and if I mispronounce your name, I do not take an offense to it if you correct me. I have a rough time with words. Words are hard for sure. But I do make an effort to show that I care and that I respect, my members of my community for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Leanne Kwong here. Her name's actually Leanna, and I just realized like a week ago that I was calling her the wrong name, and I'm like, it's for like the last few months, and I'm like, no, well, it's too late now. We're just gonna keep
That
it.
actually happened to me today. That I've been referring to someone by the wrong name for like a couple weeks, and I was so embarrassed that it happened. I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
Exactly. Okay, so what made you decide to start streaming? Like, where does that come from? Like obviously you have a history of video games, but like then where does it go to go like, hey, I want to start streaming this stuff?
Okay, so I've always wanted to stream. I've always wanted to. Like, this might come as a surprise, but I played a ton of Call of Duty, like thousands of hours of Call of Duty back in like 2009 to like 2015. I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
And when Twitch, previously known as Justin TV, became a thing, I was just like, yo, that seems cool. That seems fun. But I was always like super nervous about it because like I'm a girl, one, who plays first person shooters too. So that made me nervous about the concerns there,
Yeah.
in the first person shooter community there.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was pretty toxic. I don't know how it is now because I don't play them anymore.
Yeah.
But it was always a thought in the back of my mind of just like, try it. Right. But my nerves always prevented me from doing that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2017 where, I had finally built my own rig. I was just like, you know what? No better time to start than now. Take advantage of the opportunity
Yeah.
that I had in front of me. So in June of 2017, I was just like, you know what? We're doing it. We're making the channel.
That's amazing.
We're going live. And, honestly, like I was just like all over the place, just testing it out, just testing the waters and trying to, figure out the formula that really worked for me. And, I bounced around in different categories. I tried Overwatch, I tried some indie games. And then for a while, I really focused on the retro category.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I tried playing Pokemon Red, the original Pokemon Red, just like that cartridge.
Yes.
I was just like, okay, I like this. So I got introduced to like the collectible games, right? So Pokemon and Animal Crossing are definitely in that category, in my opinion. And I played Pokemon Red, then Pokemon Crystal, then jumped into Pokemon Shield, played that for a bit, and then eventually got to, Animal Crossing, and the rest is history.
Now, have you ever played another Animal Crossing game before?
No, this is my first ever Animal Crossing.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I honestly, I'm a little regretful that I didn't get to play these games prior, like to be introduced to, the world that is Animal Crossing. Because I do have folks who come into my channel and be like, oh, hey, do you know this lore? Do you know about Brewster, for example? I was like, I've never met Brewster. I don't know who he is.
See, and that's crazy because when you said the 3DS was the first that you bought, I thought, oh, wow, she's played New Leaf, and that's where it is. The fact that this is your first is crazy to me. Because here's the thing, like it's weird because I normally am able to tell if someone's never played before within a couple of seconds of just watching. Yeah, because when you're talking to somebody and they don't really, or you're listening to somebody talk about it and they're not really getting like, they're missing beats and points of the past and all that stuff. It's like, okay, this person's not like, doesn't have a rich history with the game. But it's weird because like I go into your streams and like it doesn't seem like the characters. A lot of stuff. So that's really impressive. I like it.
Thank you. And I would contribute that to just I'm a researcher. That's what I did previous to, Twitch before making this my full-time gig. I was a researcher, so when I get hooked onto something and I get passionate about something, I read as much as I can. I try and take in as much information as I can and try and learn so that I can help other people who are in my position of never playing the game before, so that if somebody comes in and asks me a question, I would be able to like hopefully be able to answer it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, honestly, it just makes a lot of sense ultimately. So, okay, what determines for you to get Animal Crossing? Like, where does that come from? If it's something you've never played, like, where does it come? What was it that triggered it for you to go, oh my god, I got to get this game?
It was actually my community.
Okay.
We were playing Pokemon, and there were folks in the community who were talking about Animal Crossing, and there was like a lot of hype behind it. And at that time, again, I've never played Animal Crossing before. So I was just like, all right, tell me more, tell me more. And, it was really my community who really convinced me to get into the game. And I am so thankful that they did because, like, as I mentioned before, I've been playing this game every day since March.
Me too. It's like, it's weird because I want to do other games.
Sure.
But the minute I do, I think to myself, like, yeah, but I love playing this game on stream. I want to go back and play more. And it's like, sometimes it's tough because it's like, what do you do? Like, where, like, in my head, I go, okay, what am I going to do on stream today? But it seems like I always find something to do. That's just fun, Okay, so you get the game, you start playing it, like, what's your first impressions of the game? Like when you first start playing it, like this world starts to unfold to you. Take me through your mind.
Sure. Yeah, when I first started playing Animal Crossing, like, and I've shared this with my community, is that I think that the game was really released at a very good time, sadly, with, what's going on in the world with COVID. It helped me get through those first couple months of quarantine. And, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the serenity, in those first early, stages of the game. And I'm sure you miss those stages too, of just like where your island is just bare and it's
Yeah.
just trees and you have your tent. I
Hmm.
miss those days, I'll be totally honest. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing the progression because you can actually see the fruits of your labor
Yeah.
on your island. You
Yeah.
you land on this island, there's nothing, and then you eventually build it up and you start inviting folks over to live on your island, and you start creating, relationships, right? I get
Hmm.
they're not real, but
Yeah,
you
but
start creating relationships with these villagers and creating stories,
yeah.
and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
I I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I hit this point where I get to like I think back to the early days. Like okay, so when I mean I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. I've been
Sure, sure.
since the GameCube.
Hmm.
And so I start playing this game and I knew this game was coming. Obviously we all knew well, if you were
Sure,
paying
yeah, yeah,
attention
yeah.
to Nintendo, you knew. If you watched a direct and all that stuff, you knew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I took a vacation that week. And I was
You
like,
took the whole week
I
off.
took the whole week off. I took
Okay.
like 2 days. I took Thursday prior to launch.
Hmm.
I bought the Japanese version so I could stream it for 13 hours before it got released to
Whoa.
the United States. And then so I did like a 13-hour stream the first day. And then like
Dude.
woke up the next day and
Mhm.
like dove right back in. And like every single like I was streaming in the afternoons and like
Mhm.
you got the crazy thing is at the time, I think my
Mhm.
average viewers was like 10. You know what I mean? Like
Sure, yeah.
I was so small at that point, and
Sure.
but like I'm looking over a chat. I'm like, there's 40 people here. There's 50 people here. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so I'm watching, and I'm like, this is insane. Like the amount of people that are just here. And it was like as we're winding down, they're like, are you streaming tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at the same
I'll
time.
be
It was like,
back.
and it got me into this weird rhythm that I'm like, I don't want to stop doing this. And then
Mhm.
it's a shame because now it's shifted to nights. And I mean, that's fine. No big deal. That's where I stream all the time now is nights. But
Sure.
like, it's so strange because I think back to those early days and it
Mhm.
was like everybody was kind of like, we were all playing together at the same
Yeah,
time. And it was like,
yeah.
we're all building the original. And it was like, people would come and be like, oh, where are you at? Oh, okay. Did you get this? Like, unlocking the hourly music. Like,
Yes.
that was a huge
Yes.
feat, man. Everybody's like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god, you got hourly music." It was like so good, so good. Um, what has been like? What's your favorite thing to do in Animal Crossing?
Oh man, there's so many things that I love to do. Right now, I'm actually really enjoying what I'm doing with my community right now. So we're hunting for grizzly, as you know. I
Yes.
enjoy the hunts. I enjoy the thrill of the hunt. It's kind of like a gambling almost kind of a thing. It's just like, ooh, do I take this villager now? Maybe the one that I would like to have will come sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So there's that aspect of the hunt. But I'm really enjoying giving back to my community.
Mm,
I really enjoy that. Like
yeah.
right now, I'm doing a ton of giveaways. I'm playing bingo, villager bingo with my community, and
Yeah.
it's been so much fun. Um, and yes, I put a pause on the production or the development on my island because I
Mm-hmm.
recently like bulldozed it and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to do like cottage core,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. I'm totally okay taking a pause on my enjoyment of like building because I do love to build. The Minecraft comes in of just like wanting to build whatever you want to build,
Yes.
within the restrictions of the game. Um, but I also get some sincere joy out of sharing and giving back for sure.
I've I have kind of completed my island.
Mhm.
Um, I we've coined it garden core is the way that mine is kind of set up. Um, but I'm like, I don't want to stop. Like, I'm done, but I'm like, there's nothing really for me to do design
Mhm.
wise. Like, I feel like my
Sure.
island is pretty close to perfect. I just got to dress up the campsite a little bit, and then that's
Mhm.
it. I actually bought a third Switch. Well, a third full size Switch. Uh,
Whoa, dude.
it's my seventh actual Switch that I have because I have all four of the original Switch lights.
Mm.
Um, but I bought the additional Switch so I can kind of start over and
Sure.
then
You can get that joy out of
yes,
it again.
and like
Hmm.
just start designing in a different aspect. And
Sure.
I'm kind of like, all right, do I go cottagecore or
That's what I'm gonna try and do.
and I'm like, so I'm thinking like, okay, we're gonna get the path, we're gonna do the path, and I'm like, this is crazy to even like think. But
Yes.
I get so excited about designing. It's so fun to me.
It is a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah.
To be able to collect, the things that you envision for your perfect island. Like for me, I'm gonna try and do cottagecore on my island, once I actually get to it.
Yeah.
So like I have to pay attention to like my color schemes. I have to pay attention to my textures. It walks a very fine line between chaos and not. So
Yeah.
that's fun.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so when is the mysterious fall update announcement coming? We know when the fall update will be here. I mean,
At
obviously
some
that's
point,
October.
right?
But do you think we're going to get an announcement, or do you think they just roll it out and be like, here it is, go?
I would like to think that they'll do an announcement. I'd like to think they would do that because they did that for like the summer event, right?
Yes,
They did an announcement. It would just make sense,
Yeah.
right? I would feel a little bad, a little salty for like our friends in the southern hemisphere who have already experienced the fall to not have that announcement, right? But I would like to think, I'd like to hope
Yeah.
that they would actually make a thing about it, because a lot of us are waiting for it. We were actually talking about that in my chat today of just like, when are we gonna get it?
Yeah.
We're all excited for it.
Yeah.
When?
I think the thing that is grinding at me a little bit is the empty promises from YouTubers that are telling us like, hey, it's going to be here next week, or I guarantee it's going to be here this day. And it's like, and then you get, part of you gets a little bit of hope up because you're like, okay, maybe they're right. And then it doesn't happen. It's like, okay, you're wrong. And then the next day they're like, no, it's actually this date. It's like, oh, please stop it. Please
I
stop
try to take that with like a grain of salt,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Like, sure, they can hype us up because, like, yeah, we are excited, they're excited, but I think once we hear it from Nintendo's mouth, then I'll take it for gospel.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, folks can always, hypothesize when it's going to happen. So when it happens, hopefully it happens.
Yes.
But I'm waiting, like, come on, dude. Fall's right around the corner, man.
It's already here. Technically, it is fall.
Technically, yes, it is fall.
It's like,
It
come
is.
on, man. And to be fair, the southern hemisphere has been fall for like ever now. They're into winter almost.
Yeah, they're actually going into spring.
They're going to
isn't
spring. Yeah, they're going to spring now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I like it. I like that they did that aspect this time around. Which is kind of okay. So that's the debate right now. I have this additional Switch coming, and I'm like, I guess I go southern hemisphere to be.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right, to kind of
Yeah.
do that again. So I'm thinking
Experience both at the same time.
yeah, right. It kind of be like, okay, I want to play summer today, so we go to summer.
Without time traveling, you can just experience it for how it's intended to be.
I'm assuming you time travel, right?
I do. I
Okay.
do. When I first started playing the game, I wanted to experience the game because, again, this is my first ever Animal Crossing. I wanted to experience the game as it was intended to be. So I waited every day, for folks to move in and just be patient. But after, my original island, once it hit 5 stars, I was just like, all right, time to switch things up. And, I started to explore the time traveling to get villagers and, starting the hunts.
Crazy. Oh, it's not a crazy question. I think it's a legitimate question. If you weren't a content creator, one, do you think you would have gotten Animal Crossing? And two, would you time travel, or do you think you would just still continue to take it as they do it?
So if I wasn't on Twitch, would I still be doing this? I think I would. I think I would. Because due to quarantine, I really only talk to like my husband in my community, sadly.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about. He's like, yeah, I think even if you weren't on Twitch, you would be playing. This is like right up your alley, especially with
Yeah.
all the Pokemon games that I was playing
Yeah.
and the whole concept of collecting. Because that kind of, I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy the idea of like cataloging and collecting all the things to like, I don't know, to complete your island or to
Yeah.
complete the catalog. And that just, there's something about that I find joy. So I think I would have played it regardless.
And then
Because I was also playing Pokemon Shield too.
yeah, that's true. But do you think now? How do you think? What style of play? Because obviously, I don't know. Maybe I don't think you would be time traveling and doing what you're doing, but maybe you would be. I don't know. Like, do you feel like you would have taken it as in like a more of a, I hate to say this word, but like a more of a pure
A more purist
yeah,
kind of
standpoint?
approach. I think it was because of Twitch that I was introduced to the concept of time traveling.
Hmm.
So, like, if Twitch was not in my life whatsoever, let's say that
Yeah.
hypothetically,
Hmm.
I think I would have played it as a, purist. I don't think it's the closest word that I can kind of describe to this.
Yeah.
I think I would have played it normally. But, having created so many friends or, made friendships, relationships with people in the community and Twitch and, my own personal community,
Hmm.
I was introduced to the concept of time traveling. So I think, if it wasn't a thing, then no,
Yeah.
I likely wouldn't have.
It's funny because going into this game, I had never time traveled before going into this game. And I had, even when the game first came out, I'm like, nope, we're pure. We're not time travel. We're not doing anything. And then what I did, like, I've kind of self-proclaimed myself the king of museums. Like, my museum is like, I feel like I always go crazy with the museums, trying to like really go
I love
elaborate.
museum.
So I go and I'm like, I like to do time lapse videos of me building the museum and post them on YouTube. So this one build took me 12 days just
Whoa.
to do because I had to destroy.
12 real time days.
Yeah, real time days because I had to
Wow.
destroy bridges and then re-put
Oh
up bridges and
no.
inclines, and I'm like, it
That's
was.
gonna take a minute.
Yeah, and then I got ready to do another one, and I'm like, I can't do this again. Like, I was going to stream it on Twitch, and I'm like, I want to build this on stream, and I literally can't do it because it's a matter of like, okay, we're going to move this,
Yep.
and I was like, all right, enough of this, I'm just going to do it to move stuff around. But
Sure.
but part of me feels like if I didn't do this, if I didn't have content creating, I probably wouldn't time travel. I think that I would still play the game like I had always played the game.
As intended.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I don't, and I've always said it's like you play the game how you want to play the game. I don't knock anybody
Sure.
for playing however you
Same.
want to play.
Same. I would
Um,
never judge someone for
I
how they
mean,
play.
you paid your $60 like I paid my $60. You play it how you
Yeah,
want to play it.
exactly.
But now that I've gotten a little taste of it, I'm like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad, isn't it?
But I mean, if Nintendo made it easier for us to build,
Yeah.
I don't see that I would time travel. To make me wait a day to move a bridge, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, I've paid
Yeah.
you your money. Like, let's go, man.
Let's do the thing.
Yes. What? So, okay. The let's just say hypothetically,
Sure.
next week, Nintendo makes the announcement that hey, we're going to have the official now fall update. I'm sure you've heard rumors and all that stuff. Like,
Sure,
what
yeah, yeah.
what are you hoping is there? What are you hoping Nintendo announces?
Okay, this is something I've thought a bit about. So, like, I love the fall. I feel like a lot of ladies, a lot of people will say,
Mhm.
I love the fall. I love the fall really a lot. I would love to see food, like pies, candy, like hot drinks. I think that would be wonderful.
Okay.
And folks, whenever I bring that up, folks are like, "Oh, you mean Brewster?" I'm like, "I guess so. That would be cool." I would love to see that because, like, I'm a little envious of my villagers being able to walk around with their drinks and their foods and
Mhm.
being able to barbecue on the plaza. It's just like, I want to do things with you. Let me do things with you.
Mhm.
But I love Halloween. October is my favorite month, bar none.
Mhm.
To be able to do trick or treating with our villagers
Kinda
and like
cool.
have costumes, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of intriguing to me. Like, I'm a huge Brewster fan. Like, I love Brewster. I loved the Roost. You know, so I'm really curious how that's going to unplay or unfold for us.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not a biggest fan of Jack and Halloween per se. Probably, I'm really not a fan of the holidays altogether.
Okay.
In terms of in this game, like, I always felt like they were kind of repetitive. It's kind of fetch questy what you're doing to do whatever, but I'm okay with it this time because I feel like with the crafting, they might have changed just enough of it for me to enjoy it.
Kind of like Bunny Day.
Oh God,
Kind of like Bunny Day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cause trauma to any of the viewers here, but Bunny Day was pretty bad.
It wouldn't have been so bad, but the problem was like we were still in the midst of trying to catch bugs and still trying to
Yes, we were
fish.
still learning how to play the game.
Yeah. And then like I'm out there trying to fish and I'm catching Easter eggs and I'm like, dude, no, I don't.
No, just take the eggs back,
Yeah,
please.
just give me fish. So
Yes.
it was kind of bad. It was not good. I'm hoping. Also, the other problem with Bunny Day was, and I feel like part of this problem was, it was such a small window.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was only 2 weeks, and it was like such a small window. I felt like they had to cram so much in there.
And
Where
there was a lot.
where Halloween, if we go based upon previous games,
Sure.
Jack should show up the first,
Mm-hmm.
talk about Halloween, and then the 31st we get Halloween, and that's it. And so it'll be a month long. So
That'll be great.
I would think that like if we took what happened in Bunny Day and we spread it out an extra 2 weeks, it may not be as bad, but
I agree. I definitely
time will
agree with
tell.
that.
And to be fair, Nintendo also did patch out and nerf the bug.
They did, thank
Pretty-
heavens.
pretty-
Towards the end of
Yeah,
Bunny Day.
yeah.
Yeah, they made it a little easier on us and our mentality of just always, digging up eggs, catching eggs, shaking eggs off of trees. Yeah, it was rough.
And the one good thing about Bunny Day was I got my golden slingshot very quickly because I was constantly
Same. Yeah,
shooting
yeah,
down.
yeah.
I think that's why like when I play now,
Mm-hmm.
Chad as we call him Chad. It's Chad, but Chad, they'll yell at me. Why am I letting the balloon go by? And that's the reason why. Because after like 300 balloons getting shot down in April, I was like, I'm done with
You're
balloons.
done. I'm tapping out, y'all. I'm tapping out.
Exactly. So here we go. I don't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation, but I have a
No.
question for you.
It's all good.
So years ago, I used to do a podcast with a friend of mine called If We Ran Nintendo.
If we ran
And-
Nintendo, okay.
Yes. And so I want to flip that on you, and I want to say, Kaelena, if you ran Nintendo, doesn't matter
jeez.
time, date, era, whatever. If there is one thing, if I gave you the magical wand and said change it, what is one thing from Nintendo's history that you would change?
Oh man, there's so much. But there's like, I don't mean by like, oh my goodness, there's a lot to change about Nintendo. It's just like all the content that exists in the Nintendo franchise. There's so much, right? Like, geez, if I can release Animal Crossing a little sooner, that would have been nice. I think that would have been really nice.
No delay for Animal Crossing?
Yes. I'm trying to think of what else would I change. Jeez Louise. I think for Smash, my husband plays Smash and he's a big Smash player. Like I would add more characters
Oh, God.
that like need homage, like the Belmonts. I would love to add the Belmonts to Smash, sooner, right? Because part of the Castlevania franchise, right?
Yes.
I played a lot of Castlevania. I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid. Those are some of my favorite retro games, actually. But yeah, I think I would have released Animal Crossing a little sooner if I had to choose. Or actually improve the Metroid series.
Oh.
I would improve the Metroid series. Like Super Metroid is one of my favorite retro games.
So
Like of
good.
all the retro games, that one's my favorite because Samus honestly is an icon. She is a woman who don't need no man. She can handle herself. And I think that if they just improved the Metroid series and gave her a better games, I think that would be cool too. To speak to like my retro friends and the retro fans in general,
I love that. Did you play Samus Returns on the 3DS?
No, I did not. I just
Oh,
avoided all of
so-
like the Metroid games because I have heard nothing but like scary stories about the Metroid games post, Super Metroid.
So good. So good. That game
Okay, maybe I'll give it a try.
That game
Because
it's on
of course I have a 3DS, I
Yeah.
can pick it up.
It's really good. I loved it. I love what they did. Metroid Zero is a Zero Mission, it's called. That's a really good one. That basically is the original Metroid, but basically Super Metroid changes, quality of life improvements. So it's so good. That's a really good one too.
Yeah.
Those would probably be the three that I would say. I'm not a huge fan of the Prime series.
Yeah, I did play a little bit of the Prime series and I just did not enjoy it. I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like I keep going back to, Super Metroid and the speed running community.
Mhm.
I watch AGDQ and SGDQ every year and I always make sure to catch the Super Metroid run
Yeah,
because it's my favorite retro game.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, let's jump back into where
Sure.
we were.
Yeah,
I
totally.
didn't mean to derail you. I totally
No, you're good.
totally
You're fine.
derailed the show or whatever.
It's
It's my show. I can do what I want.
true.
This is true. So, okay, who is your favorite villager? And I already know because obviously, but who is your favorite villager and why? Why is this person your favorite villager?
Molly. Hands down, it's Molly. I think she is so incredibly cute. And there was, I don't know, like it suddenly hit me. Like I wasn't aware that Molly was a villager when I started playing Animal Crossing,
Mhm.
right? I went to islands and just invited who I thought was cute at the time, right? I didn't really understand the concept of like, oh, there's different personalities and, different, there's so many, races of villagers.
Mhm.
And when I started hunting, and I was just like, okay, let's look at all of the animals, right? Because there's so many of them.
Mhm.
And I came across the ducks. I was like, oh, these guys are adorable.
They
They're
are.
so cute. And they're so tiny,
Mhm.
right? In comparison to you. And I came across Molly. And I started looking up like memes about her and like fan art about her. I was just like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. I can't. I just can't. And, when I finally invited Molly to my island again, we found her, on Island 450, but not really on
Mhm.
Island 450. I finally got to see the inside of her house, and my chat can attest, like, I spent like 30 minutes just in complete awe of her. And I was just like, guys, just look at how precious she
Oh
is.
God.
Just look at her.
Oh my God.
She was like playing her violin, and we're like, stop the stream. Let's just watch Molly play her violin and just be in awe of her. And, everything else is history. I just love her so much.
Listen, I can respect the Duck King. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, I can tell.
Huge
I
fan
can
of
tell.
Bill. Love Bill.
I
So
would love to invite him to my island, actually.
you need to. You may listen. He will. He will change your whole perspective of life. I love that guy.
Pretty bold statement.
That's not a statement. That's a guarantee. That's a
Okay.
guarantee. He was on my GameCube island. I fell in love with him
Oh,
then,
I see.
and that was it. It was like he totally. For me, it became Bill Crossing at that point. It was no longer.
Oh, that's so cute.
Is there anything you're looking forward to in the rest of the year of Animal Crossing? Like, is there anything coming up? Like when you time travel, are you going far ahead and getting a lot of the items from other seasons?
I actually try not to get any of the items in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm time traveling for, villagers, because you have to try and move the bubble to somebody, right?
Mhm.
I try and like ignore like the snowflakes falling that you can catch,
Yeah.
or like the acorns at the time. This was
Yeah.
summer and spring. I'm just like, oh, there's acorns on the floor. Oh, and there's pine cones. Do I pick those up? No, no.
Yeah.
Must refuse. Because like I guess in that sense, I was a bit of a purist that I wanted to try and keep that as candid, like my response. I wanted my response to that to be as genuine as possible. And even with time traveling, I avoided the days around my birthday because I didn't want
okay.
that spoiled for me either.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I'm looking forward to the fall. I like right now with my time traveling of hunting for grizzly, I'm stuck on October 13th.
Mm.
So the trees are starting to change color, and I love that touch. I
Yeah.
really do. Because I'm from the Midwest, I think the Midwest really shows its beauty
Mm-hmm.
in the fall with the changing of the leaves, and to
Yeah.
see that in a game, just I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm at home.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only go a couple days. Like the furthest out I've gone is a week, because I'll be
Really?
like, because I just change a couple things and I stop and I go back. Once they've changed, then I go back and I don't go. It's just something with me. I don't know what it is. I just in my head, I can't not. I gotta. I don't know. I just have to stay with it because I'm always, even though I am time traveling now, I still in the back of my mind go, this is taboo. Like, why are you doing this? And
Yeah, I get that thought
you
too.
know,
From time to time, I do.
Because my main thing is like I've played it a certain way so long that me moving forward a couple of days bothers me. And
Sure, yeah.
just because I don't want to see stuff, so I want to stay in my wheelhouse of where I am. Like I'll do stuff where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna build. I want to build at 5 o'clock. I want to listen to the music at 5 a.m.
Yes.
So nice, so good.
I love the music in the early morning. It's so serene,
Yeah.
so quiet, and it's so peaceful. Like I remember when I first started playing the game, I would, there would be a couple days where I would get up at 6 a.m. to play Animal Crossing because I wanted to see the sunrise. I wanted to listen to the music because at that time I was again, the purist, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And I wanted to experience it. And I fell in love with those early hours. I really liked it a lot.
Oh my god, I like the Celeste behind you. I just realized you had
Yes,
Celeste.
I do. I have a little Celeste behind me.
just saw
Yes,
that.
my
Like-
community, a member of my community gifted that to me for my birthday.
That's amazing. That is so
Yeah.
amazing. So good. So is there anything you're looking forward, like since you don't time travel ahead, is there anything upcoming that you can't wait to see or whatever?
Like I am excited to see the fall, like how the fall is going to play out of what the events they're going to release, if there's going to be any events.
Yeah.
Because again, you can't time travel and be like, oh, this is what they're doing for the fall event.
Yeah.
It's a patch, right? I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to what they're doing for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing island visits and Dream Address visits, I would visit islands that were in the winter.
Yeah.
And I noticed that along with Christmas trees, that there's also menorahs as well. And I think that
Wow.
is a wonderful touch of inclusivity of, I like to refer to it as the holiday season and not just the Christmas season because there's a plethora of holidays around that time. So for Nintendo to, put that touch there of not just focusing on Christmas, because folks do celebrate Christmas, but there are other holidays around that time too. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do around the holiday season in December.
I think for me, where I'm still can't wait to see is like how they introduce the rest of the Nintendo items. Like we know now.
Oh yes, that's right.
Like we know now that Mario is coming in March, and whatever. I don't,
Whenever it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and but the thing is like from playing previous Animal Crossings, it's there day one. You just have to like earn them, and just I sit there and I go like I know all the items that have been in the past games, and I'm like
They're coming.
But I'm like, oh my god, you could do so many cool things as far as decorating outside with some of this stuff. Like, dude, we could have had a seriously like spooky area with the Metroid music playing because you have Metroids there, and like they could have really.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, because they have actual canisters with the Metroid in it.
Really?
And then when you hit it, it plays that creepy music.
My mind is blown.
Oh, it's amazing. Like there's so much good stuff that they have. The Mario stuff is a little hokey. I probably wouldn't use that outside. But even like I have a friend of mine who built a Zelda area for A Link to the Past, and it's basically like the Lost Forest where the
Really? Little Koroks.
well where the Master Sword is, and
Yes.
so he basically set it up, and he's like, the only thing I wait for is the Master Sword to show up because there is
Plop it
one.
right there.
Yeah, he's like, I can just plop it there and I'm good to go. And I'm like, this kills me, man. I can't wait to see what they do with that stuff. It's going to be amazing.
And now that we're talking about this, I would actually look forward to seeing other characters that existed in previous games to see if they ever be introduced. Like Amethyst Alien, she's another streamer on Twitch. She loves all things spooky, and she's talked about Katrina. And I was just like, who's Katrina?
Yeah.
And folks are saying that she's a black cat and she reads your fortune.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I would love to have her on my island because, like, on my island right now, I have a witch on my island. I
Okay.
have myself and the Baba Yaga, as I've been referring to her, the Baba Yaga. So I would love to have Katrina on my island, because I have a spooky corner for
Yeah.
our little witch in the corner. I think that would be cool.
Well, I think when the King Tut mask showed up,
Oh, I love that item.
that to me was the first tell that, okay, this is potentially coming. Because in the past, tripping meant you had bad luck. And then,
Yes.
so they brought in the King Tut mask and then brought in the tripping. And it was like, okay, this could potentially lead to you have bad luck, you're tripping. Here comes Katrina. She's going to tell you what you need to do to like clear yourself of the bad luck. So that's why I think that's probably sooner rather than later.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah. Part of me feels October, but we'll see. I think that could definitely be something that shows up.
I really hope so.
There's so much. That's the thing. Like I've been on record as saying like I feel like this game is not the best Animal Crossing game, but it will once they've done with the updates and they've put the stuff in there that belongs in there from previous Animal Crossing games. To me, it'll be like this is complete. This is it, and I get what they're trying to do.
Sure.
I get the fact that like you're supposed to have showed up on a deserted island, and here is
Gotta figure it out.
Yeah, here's the slow process of you're building it up, and
Yeah.
you're getting new vendors to come and do all this stuff, and it's like, but I'm just part of me just like let me go, like let me
have freedom, please.
and let me have fun with this. So we're almost at the top of the hour. We've almost been doing this for an hour. Imagine that.
Whoa.
I want to there was a couple questions from the community. I didn't want to miss them.
Sure,
if we
of course.
could. Ash Nicholson, she asked who the favorite villager was, but she also said, "What is your biggest challenge as a streamer?"
My biggest challenge as a streamer. Let's see. That one's actually a little tough. I think, trying to find a balance between content creation and when you're live and knowing when you're not live, right? Of knowing when the camera's off, when you don't need to work, and balancing that because you need to find a balance so that you don't stress yourself out, get overwhelmed by all of the things that you want to do because I was in that boat for a little bit, and I think I'm finally reaching a point where I feel that balance, right? Where I can step away from Twitch and do stuff with my husband or do things that I want to do outside of gaming. So I think that was the hardest thing, the thing that I struggled with before.
It does, yeah. Finding the balance between life and streaming can be difficult. Foolish Fuji, she asks, what is a game you haven't streamed yet, but you would love to?
Okay. Oh, that means you guys are testing me of just like all the games that that exist. Jeez Louise. I really want to play Link's Awakening. I really want to play that, the remake, the one that was released on the Switch. I would love to play that game at some point. Yeah, I would say that. I do want to play, whenever it happens, I do want to play Hollow Knight's sequel. I don't know if folks are familiar with that game, but it's not Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it hopefully will be on the Switch.
It'll be on the Switch.
Fingers crossed, right? But yeah, the first name that comes to mind is Link's Awakening, for sure.
All right, I dropped it out to the chat, and they're dropping a couple questions. I don't even have. Okay, this name is whatever. I'm going to destroy it. So please, I guess it's Alicia Navik. I don't know. Or I apologize. It's horrible. Will Animal Crossing always be your main game to play?
Whoa, that is tough. Like I can't tell the future. I don't think anybody can tell the future.
Yeah.
But like right now, like my heart is in this game. I love this game so much, and as you mentioned earlier before, of just like getting into Animal Crossing and always having something to do, I feel like that too. Like I will always find something to do with my villagers or something to do on my island, and like maybe in the future I'll just get bored of my island and just bulldoze it again and just start from scratch and.
Just buy another Switch. Just buy another Switch. It's fine.
If only. If only.
Miss Devious asks, can you please explain how to catalog an AC and where do you find the things you catalog?
So cataloging, I like to use the comparison. So I like to compare it to Pokemon in the sense of touch trading. So in Pokemon, if you're trying to complete your Pokedex, and somebody has a Pokemon that you have or that you need for your Pokedex, be like, hey, how about if I trade it to you and then just give it right back?
Yep.
Just so that it can register to my Pokedex.
Yep.
And then there you go, because the Pokedex will think, oh, you caught the Pokemon. Yay,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I use that comparison when talking about cataloging. So that's how I usually compare it. Now, where do I find items to catalog? I really turn to my community,
Yeah.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my Discord, if folks are looking for certain things, they'll post it in chat. Be like, hey, does anybody have item X?
Mm-hmm.
If I could either buy it from you or catalog it from you, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really love about Animal Crossing too, is the sense of community, because you might not come across an item that you've seen before, but maybe, your friend on island, XYZ has it, and they can come through and help you out just by, picking it up and putting it back down.
Yes.
Simple as that.
We'll try to do one, maybe two more.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Liz Wharton asks, what goals do you have for your stream post partner?
Post partner. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I attend partnership or attain partnership,
stop
right?
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Hey, it's a point of stress, let me tell you.
You ain't telling me nothing. I know.
You're like, I can relate.
Listen, it's easy to be on this side going like, oh, you got it. Like earlier when you were doing it to me, but on the side I'm going like, no, stop. You're gonna jinx me.
Stop.
Yeah.
Post partner. So, recently I was invited to join a team called Team SideQuest. Team SideQuest is an amazing team that is oriented around charity. And my background, I love charity. I love doing volunteer work. I love to give back to the community. I love to give back to those who are in need. And while being on this team, I think we're going to be achieving such great things. And I want to try and host charity events to try and benefit organizations and research goals and things of the sort. Like I myself, I'm really passionate about cancer research. As you know, my mom is a cancer patient. I have members of my family who are cancer patients or have passed away from cancer. I'm really passionate about that. So I really want to pursue that to try and raise awareness around cancer awareness. And I know that other folks, or cancer research, excuse me, I know a lot of folks do that, but I really want to try and use my platform for good to bring awareness to that, as well as inclusivity on the platform. Mental health, things of that sort, right? And that it's okay to be not okay, especially during this time right now, for sure. So a lot of those things, I kind of have like my hands in a lot of buckets right now that I have these very aspirational goals that I would like to pursue. But I think once, that milestone of reaching partner happens, I would be able to like buckle down and really like nail the points that I want to do and really be able to execute them. Because right now it's all like a hypothetical.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
William Reed asks, how do you feel about being a female streamer in today's time and age?
Oof. That was something that, held me back for a long time, especially in the gaming side, right? Because on Twitch, there are gamers, there are artists, there's all sorts of content on Twitch. But as a female gamer, I was always afraid. I was always nervous about it. But as, I became more comfortable being in front of a camera and being able to speak to certain points and address behavior that is not cool in the industry, in the platform, I've gained some sort of confidence, so to speak, right? Of like, hey, like if a troll comes in saying like, oh, you're a woman on Twitch, you don't belong here, or something of that nature, it's just like, that's cool, dude.
Yeah. Bye.
Right. Yeah. But before, that kind of stuff used to really bother me and get under my skin. But as I started streaming more often and becoming more comfortable being in front of a camera and, having a great team of mods as well as a wonderful community, that's helped me with my confidence to be able to, stand my ground and address things that are happening in the gaming community and on the platform. Women and those who are not women as well, because especially with like the Me Too movement, right? That happened on the platform.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say at first it was a little hard, a little uncomfortable, but there were growing pains. And I feel now I feel a bit more confident in who I am and being able to speak to certain points.
I remember, I think I rated you, man, I don't even know when it was. Probably 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
Okay.
And you were on the verge of tears when I did. And you were like,
Cry a lot.
and you were like, well, because you had what you had said was that you had just gone through the day before, where a lot of trolls came in and were messing with your stream, and that you had to shut down. I think you said you almost shut down chat to like anybody. You had to be sub only or something like that. You did. I forget the exact details.
Sure.
And
We got a hate rate essentially.
yes.
Mhm.
But I want to say something to you.
Sure.
Number one, I've taken the opinion that what I'm sure, and I'm probably sure it might be easier for me because I'm a guy or whatever. I might not catch as much flack as you do or females do. But I like look at I'm not the most fit person in the world, and guys will come in and they'll mock me and all that stuff. I've always been under the impression of I don't care. Say whatever you want about me. I don't care. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. You, Kaelena, you have so much going for you. You're gorgeous. You're well-spoken. You're smart. You're funny. Like, you are an amazing streamer.
Thank you.
Anybody
Thank
that
you.
comes into that stream talking trash about you, it don't mean anything. They're A, jealous, B, full of crap. Don't let that stuff get to you ever. Because
I do agree. It's just kind of hard, when you're live, you're in the middle of doing whatever you're doing,
Oh, I
and
get
if
it. Yeah.
somebody comes in and just kind of like throws you off just a little off kilter,
Yeah.
and they start, targeting your insecurities, and you have to try and like check yourself
Yeah.
real quick. Right, because yes, you're still live in front of a camera,
Yeah.
and you don't want to feed into that. You do not want to give them that power whatsoever, because once you do, it's going to go downhill.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
The thing is this: 9 times out of 10, what I feel they're just kids. And I think if you, so I look at it like this: when I was a kid, back in the day, the thing was you would call the radio station and mess with the DJs, right?
Yes.
And it was fun and it was like, we didn't mean nothing by it. We were just idiots. But we just, you know what I mean? Like, it's what you do as a kid because it's fun. And I could totally see a bunch of kids getting on the phone with their friends. Oh, let's go mess with this girl. Or let's go mess with it, and it's, but I just feel like, you know what? Who cares? You would be surprised how many people I've turned into followers. Like, I had a guy one time I'm playing, and he's making fun of my hair, and this is when my hair was shaved. And I was like, stopped. And I was like, wait a minute. Because he was like, what's wrong with this guy's hair? And I stop and go, wait a minute. I have hair? And I'm looking in the camera, and I'm like,
You're like, what?
I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I have hair now.
Wow,
and
that's
like,
a surprise to me.
next thing I know, click, follow happens, and he's like, you're kind of funny, man. I like, so the thing is I think your whole attitude, your whole demeanor is amazing. You like what you do is so inspiring on so many levels. And I think that's why I totally like, I consider you to be one of my best friends in the Twitch world. Like I consider you to be somebody that I want to see do great things. And like this whole time I've been like, I've DM'd you, like, where you at? What's going on? How close are you? Let's go, let's push. And, and that's the thing for me, is like, I want to, the people that are amazing and good people, that's the people I want to see succeed. So I've always felt that way about you. And I'm so glad that Joe introduced us, because if not, like, it's like...
Shout out to Joe.
Exactly. So, with that, why don't you tell people real quickly, again, how they can find you, where they can follow you at, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So again, my name is Kaelena. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at twitch.tv/KaelenaTV from 12 noon Central to about 6:30 p.m. So we stream about 6 hours on average.
Good lord.
It's become a norm for me. Like I worked my way up to that, and that's actually a good. I guess that's a good spot for me because after 6.5 hours, it's just like brain activity goes down. So I'm good. I am good at 6 hours. You can find me on Twitter at KaelenaTV as well. I post on there active. You can find me at Instagram at KaelenaTV as well. You can find me pretty much anywhere under that handle.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, dude.
I was really worried that you wouldn't do it. I thought you'd tell me
Really?
to get lost. Yeah, man. I was like, she's gonna big time you, man. She's gonna tell me to get lost.
No, no. Like I honestly love interviews. I love being able to have like candid, honest conversations with people. And that's where my background is too. Like I'm a social worker. Like I have my background in social work. So like I can listen. I'm a professional listener, as I like to say, and be able to engage. I love it. It's great.
Amazing. Just for the people that are here listening or watching, whatever it is, just know that every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we stream live. We have a live podcast that we record here. The audio version will hit SoundCloud. Will hit Spotify, Apple, all that stuff probably in a day or so. I'll tweet that out. And then the other thing is next Thursday, our next guest, Mr. Joe After Work. We're gonna have Joe back. And I am hyped for that one because it's been a while since I've got to talk face to face with him a little bit. Love that guy. So glad that he's back.
Fam is great. Fam is great.
Oh, so glad he's back streaming and all that stuff.
Same.
So,
Same.
But for now, that is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye, guys.